bills, empty pockets, crowded faces. From every doorway, I can feel those eyes, they never blink. Waiting on a crack in my armor, waiting for me just to sink. Sorry to disappoint you all, I'm still breathing, still on cue. I'm here as a soldier, standing loyal, standing true. Turn my pain into a promise, turn my losses into fuel. I was raised by the pressure, now I use it as a tool. I'm gonna rise up, I'm gonna win. I'll be the one still standing when this fight ends. Yeah, you can disrespect, turn your back, talk big and run from the fact. I paid dues you can never pay back. I'm the alpha and I lead this pack. My goals, my dreams, my ambition, lace tight, they never slip. Every setback just a rap, I get stronger with the hits. From the shadows to the spotlight, I've been walking through the smoke. Heart armor like a riot shield, I don't break, I just reload. Yeah, they're watching for me, bleeding for me, begging on my knees. But I grew up in the deep and learned to breathe where others freeze. So keep talking from the bleachers, I'm still grinding on this track. By the time you see me shining, you'll remember how you left. I'm gonna rise up, I'm gonna win. I'll be the one still standing when this fight ends. When it ends, you can disrespect, turn your back. Talk tough, but I live what you lack. I took scars, turned them all into maps. I'm the alpha and I lead this pack. Life threw me to the street, thought that I would never last. Now I'm marching with an army made of every broken past. If you're walking where I walk, just remember when it's black. You can rise up, you can win, you can lead your own path, yeah. Knuckles scarred, heart on fire. I stack my doubts, set a match to the pile. I talk to the mirror, say it straight, no excuse. Your response is your responsibility. So what you gonna do? We don't do easy. We bleed, we climb, we push on through. We don't do easy. Turn every can into watch me. Today's you, step for step till the old you's through. Stand up, face it, we are Grit Nation. Fail 10 times on the 11th swing. Pressure makes a harder ring. They toss stones, we build steps. Every setback, another rep. Escape, only truth. Your response is your responsibility. So what you gonna do? We don't do easy. We bleed, we climb, we push on through. We don't do easy. Turn every can into watch me prove. Best yesterday's you with today's you. Step for step till the old you's through. Means you're close to the edge.
What is up, Grit Nation? This song never gets old.
Daily stack these wins.
Easy.
We bleed. We
All right. Welcome to this episode of Coffee with Coach. I'm Coach. I've got coffee. It's Coffee with Coach. And I don't even know the alternate song. All right, Great Nation, welcome to another episode of Coffee with Coach. If you are not familiar with what that is or what this is, you're watching this on the replay on YouTube or watching this on Facebook, then this is an opportunity for me, Coach Grit, to be able to sit down and have a moment, some time with you where I can just pour into you information, education, inspiration, motivation, pour into you tools that you can utilize in your life. Yesterday in Coffee with Coach, if you haven't seen it, please go check it out. You can find it on our Facebook group, or you can also find it on our YouTube channel. We started a 3-day series about the impact of dopamine and how that can positively or negatively affect our lives. And we started doing this because there is such an inundation of the quick need for fulfillment. And as I'm working with individuals on a one-on-one basis, whether it be in personal training, whether it be in mindset coaching, no matter where it is, even in conversation, our attention span seems to be getting smaller. And our ability to stick with things in order to accomplish a goal, to reach the designated objective, seems to be getting smaller and more difficult, and people are finding it harder and harder to stay with something, whether it be a job, whether it be a relationship, whether it be goals, whether it be personal fitness, whether it be mindset. We have generated and built a society that is focused on that quick high. And in doing some research on it and doing my own study on it, this I really believe it is because we have become addicted to our own natural brain chemical, and that chemical is dopamine. Dopamine has some amazing attributes that can help us move through our life. And we talked about that in yesterday's Coffee with Coach. But it also has a negative impact if we are not controlling our thoughts. Instead, we're allowing our thoughts to control our emotions, then our emotions control our actions. If we are not in charge psychologically, if we do not take charge and we run on autopilot, and then we become addicted to dopamine. There is a old Star Trek episode, Star Trek Next Generation, and yes, I'm a Trekkie, that this really plays really into what apologize if you hear my dogs in the background. Normally we do this in the morning where the office is more quiet, but I had some things that I had to get taken care of this morning. But there's a Star Trek Next Generation episode that there is an alien who introduces a game onto the Starship Enterprise. And everybody starts playing this game. And it is a form of mind control where the alien is hoping to take over the Enterprise by getting everyone addicted to the pleasures of this game to where they just don't want to do anything else. And that episode 100% describes the dopamine effect. And how does that affect our lives? What should we be aware of it? What is it something that we can take? What is the tool we can, or the package we can take and say, hey, coach, this is what I'm going to walk away with today. And I'm going to study it. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to utilize it. So as I said yesterday, we talked somewhat about the positive aspects of dopamine in our system. Why we have it? It helps us with our sleep. It regulates our mood. It helps us be motivated. There are so many good things. The issue is we have really seen a swing. I have seen a swing when it comes to the bad side of dopamine. I've seen destroyed lives. I've seen individuals who are not living up to their full potential and they've stopped even giving a damn, to be honest. I am seeing relationships and marriages falling apart because of the dopamine addiction. Because this comes into play with anything that gives us a quick reward. It gives us that quick pleasure. It can come from scrolling through social media. It can come through with food where I'm not feeling good. I'm depressed and I want some comfort food. So I'm going to eat food, and that brings a really quick reward and an enjoyment, and it shoots that dopamine through our system and we feel that natural high and we like it. The issue, again, as I stated yesterday, is it is just like any other drug. In order to continue getting the same high, we must continue to feed the dopamine machine. And in order to do that, we are constantly taking more and more risks, and we come up with excuses on why it's okay. Why do we do that? Because it is an addiction. Just like an addict will sit there and go, well, this will be the last time. But the addict knows it's not going to be the last time. I'm only going to do just a little bit. I'm feeling the withdrawals. And so I just need a little bit to take off the edge, whether it be alcohol, whether it be narcotics, whether it be a sex addiction, a porn addiction, whatever it may be, a social media addiction, even an addiction to work and success. Anything that kicks in that dopamine, and we start saying, well, I just a little bit. But before we know it, we're left in shambles. We have not succeeded at our dreams and our goals. We've not succeeded at our physical fitness and our physical well-being. Our mindset and our mental well-being is totally trashed because we have unbalanced the dopamine effect. Some of the impacts of dopamine addiction, or known as dopamine dysfunction, one is reduced motivation. The reason being is because what used to motivate us and give us that reward, we have supplemented it with false reward. We sit and we constantly look at these 30-second, 15-second, 60-second videos, and we get this jolt, and it's like, well, each time we've done that, what happens is we've elevated the need for more dopamine. And dopamine works with our motivation. It helps us stay motivated. So in order for us to be able to reach that level of motivation to actually go out and go do a workout, go work on our physical fitness, go read something that is educational, inspirational, motivational, go listen to something, go do anything, really. In order to get motivated to do it, to get up off that couch, we have elevated the dopamine need so high that now we have this huge gap where we used to get motivated here. We now have to fill this gap in just to get motivated to go do something. Well, the issue is in that space, that's where we become distracted. In that space, that's where we're not motivated to go do anything. So we start doing other things and we start feeling anxious. We start feeling depressed. We start feeling lazy. We start feeling unmotivated. And we're like, we have a knowledge that we shouldn't feel this way. So in order to change it, what we do, instead of going and doing the hard work of saying, okay, whether I feel like going and doing something toward my goals and my dreams, whether I feel like sticking with this job that seems unbearable right now, whether I feel like sticking with this marriage or this relationship and doing the hard work to constitute a solid relationship, that's too much work. I can get the same dopamine effect by going and having an affair, by going and texting the way I shouldn't be texting to someone. Or I can get that same dopamine effect by going and having my favorite drink of my favorite cocktail, or going and hanging out and watching my favorite sports because it makes me feel, it's so funny. That's why one of the things I find so funny, I don't like watching sports, is because I'm sitting there going, this is not doing anything for me. I'm getting a dopamine fix by cheering on my favorite team, but they're the ones actually out there accomplishing their dreams. They're the ones actually out there making the money off of me watching them. They're the ones who are actually staying physically fit and have a coach, a nutrition coach. They're the ones doing it. I'm just sitting on my couch eating pizza. And all I'm doing is withdrawing in this dopamine, and I'm not actually pursuing anything that sets me up for success. So having a dopamine dysfunction, a dopamine addiction, having a gap in that, where you need the dopamine and you've created that need so much that you have to have so much of it and generate so much of it, and you have so many levels you have to get to just to get motivated, it affects the level of motivation. It lowers the baseline dopamine, means people are less willing to put in the hard work required for success. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if there are relationships out there where someone in that relationship is begging for their partner to pay attention, to join them, to be a partner, but the partner has become so fixated on dopamine that the hard stuff, the spending time talking, spending time understanding, spending time listening, spending time actually doing the things that will make your partner feel valued, that's hard. And I don't have the motivation to do that. What I do have the motivation to do is block that person out, pretend everything is okay, the addict, and go back to my dopamine fix. It also can create a burnout effect, that chasing that dopamine creates not just an addiction, but a burnout effect, because what it does is everything's constantly changing. And it's like I'm watching people on TikTok where it used to be, if you've been around on TikTok for a while, I'm not knocking TikTok. It's a tool. It's an element that we can abuse if you're not aware of it. But I remember a time when TikTok used to be just dances. Now it's all this people's buying stuff. Why do you think it has become so prevalent, where at least I see it a lot, where it seems like everybody's selling something? And if you begin to listen to the ads on TikTok where people are selling stuff, they all tell you the same thing. They're all telling you how they tried this out. They found it useful. They cannot understand why anyone wouldn't have it. I mean, there are literally people that sit there. I saw this today. Some guy has got a stack of these these glasses that record, and he's standing at a computer, and he's answering all these messages saying, yeah, this does this, man, these are the great things that. Why are people buying them? Do you need glasses that record? You probably don't need them. The dopamine effect has created a desire of not missing out. You don't want to miss out on something that someone else has clearly got an enjoyment. And the addiction to dopamine gets you feeling that when you start seeing someone else excited about something and you don't feel that, you feel as if you have missed out on something. And what is that something? Well, that something, according to this person, is you purchasing this item. That's why hoarders become addicted to purchasing. That's why people get into financial ruin, because they're going out and they're buying all this stuff they don't need. But the reason they're purchasing it is it's not a need, it's a want. The reason they want it is because the dopamine effect is telling them, they're allowing their mind to run on autopilot. Their mind processes what they're seeing on the ad. Their emotions say they're going to miss out on something. Clearly, I can find a reason to purchase or use that. That's something I need. By the way, it made that person really happy. I mean, look at it. And I'm missing out on that. So the emotion then tells the action, you need to go do this. And before you know it, they're running up credit cards, all because of the constant chase. And what this chase does is, as we were describing, where the levels begin to get higher and higher, you now cannot hold that. It's like overdosing, but yet on dopamine. You cannot reach those new levels. So then what happens? Eventually, the pleasure and the reward that is meant to motivate you to pursue your dreams and your goals to accomplish something becomes burnout, because you're going to be chasing something that you will never be able to reach, because the level of dopamine that you need in order to achieve that reward and motivation now is so high, you can't produce enough. So what does that do? That leaves you in a state of anxiety because you are constantly chasing, going, I gotta feel it. I gotta feel it. I'm gonna buy that item. I'm gonna go text that person who was flirting with me that I shouldn't be really texting. I'm going to go spend more time away from the family because the family is stressing me out. I'm going to lay on the couch and watch more TV. I'm going to Snapchat this person, or I'm going to go do that. I'm going to do all these different things because why? I am chasing a high that I cannot ever get to because I have burnt out my dopamine receptors. And all the while, you're leaving a trail of destruction, of destroyed dreams, destroyed goals, destroyed health, destroyed relationships, just because you're chasing that high. It makes you neglect long term goals, because when we have a dopamine addiction and a dysfunction, what happens is we are constantly seeking that immediate reward. Well, long term goals never come with short term rewards. That's why they're called long term goals. My son and I were talking earlier today, and he said, we both were talking about how we are both pursuing our own dreams, our own goals, our own vision. And we're the opposite of where we almost have to sit there and go, okay, it's okay to rest, because we understand what it takes to reach the long-term goals. We know that the reward's not today. The reward most likely is not going to be tomorrow. In fact, I was setting out goals for grit and my personal training and my mindset coaching, and I was yesterday looking at a year out saying, here's where I want to be, and that's not the ultimate. But in order to get there, where I want to be in a year, here are the steps I need to take. But if I have that dopamine dysfunction and I have set those levels up, there's no reward between now and there. I have no reward. And so what that does is that then takes away the motivation to even get up and do something. I'm going to tell you, folks, it takes a lot of motivation to get up in the morning and know that I'm going to put in a lot of work. I was at the gym at 5 o'clock this morning. I trained a client at 5. I did my own workout, and then I was at a group fitness for another hour. I did 3 total workouts this morning. And I'm going to tell you, it is not anything other than getting up this morning and being motivated, knowing that these steps that I'm going to, by the time 11 o'clock rolled around, I had done 3 intense workouts and my body was sore and I'm exhausted and tired. And I still have to come back here and work. What keeps me motivated? It's the idea and knowledge that of finding those small rewards within it. But if you have the dopamine addiction, those small rewards aren't enough. And if I have created an imbalance, those small rewards are not going to get me to that feeling of I accomplished something. So eventually I'm going to get burnt out and I'm not going to seek out those long-term rewards. When I was working in corporate America, I would see so many times people come and work we would hire people, and we saw this more in a younger generation, but even in an older generation, it was those people who you could tell their lifestyle was built around the high. And then days where we were really, really busy and nonstop, dude, they thrived. Days where it was not so busy and we really relied on them to be self-motivated, yeah, they weren't. And eventually they quit. They didn't stick with it because they didn't understand. I'd have people come to me all the time. Well, when do I get a raise? Boss, when do I get a raise? And I'd look and go, okay, so let me ask you a question. I hear that you want a raise. You believe that you should be getting paid more for the work that you're doing. Yep. So explain to me the work that you're doing that you believe presents the need for a raise. And they would say, well, I do A, B, C. And I'd pull out their job description. I said, well, that's exactly what your job description is. So what are you doing above this? If you want, and I would tell them, I would sit down and say, okay, so you want to raise, you want to get promoted. Here are the steps that you need to take. And I would be very honest with them. I said, it could take 6 months to a year. 6 months to a year? Yeah. 6 months to a year. Like if you do it this really well, and then the next 6 months, we could probably have a different conversation, but I would probably push it out to about a year. Are you kidding me? A year? And immediately I knew I was probably going to lose them because they had no understanding or desire to pursue those long term goals. So, the other thing that this can do is diminish returns because dopamine spikes occur with unexpected rewards. Repeating the same successful behaviors eventually yields less satisfaction. So, we're talking about all that negative part, but let's say you're sitting there going, Coach, this doesn't really affect me. I don't think, because I have been pursuing my goals. I have been pursuing my dreams. I am decreasing the stuff that seems to be distractions, but I just don't feel rewarded. Well, dopamine, that reward, that motivation comes with that unexpected. So, for example, yesterday I received a phone call. I was feeling a little down. I was motivated. I was still moving forward, but I was feeling a little discouraged about some things. And I received a message from someone I know who said, hey, do you have your strength and conditioning certification? I'm like, yeah, I do. I told you that before. He's like, oh, I just lost. He owns a gym, a boxing gym. And he says, I just lost my strength and conditioning coach. Would you be willing to come and be a part of that, part of this? And immediately that was unexpected. And that gave me an instant excitement because I'm like, man, I put in all that work to get that certificate and I've done all this study. And every day I'm constantly progressing my knowledge in this field. And look, I was ready when it happened. I got this immediate boost of dopamine that then propelled me forward. The issue is so many times we get stuck in ruts when we are successful that we go, okay, A, B, and C got me here. And it gave me a sense of reward and satisfaction. It gave me that dopamine boost. So I'm going to keep doing A, B, and C. The issue is by continuing to do A, B, and C, you've achieved that level. There's no new real surprise. And we elevated the need for dopamine and the level that it's going to be produced at. And so then we keep doing A, B, and C. So here's A, B, and C, and here's the next level of the dopamine boost. And we keep doing A, B, and C. We're not doing D, E, F. So the other piece to this is that there are times where when we are seeming to do everything right, if I were to sit down with you and talk with you about your mindset, about success coaching, about work and career and goal setting, you'd be like, Coach, I don't know where I'm failing. I am doing all of the things that I think I should be doing. Educational, motivational, inspirational coach starting off in the morning. I've heard you say that over and over. I do it. Hey, coach, I'm in the gym. But it's similar to if I were to go to the gym today. I was at the gym and when I was talking to another trainer and he showed me this new tricep workout that he had created. And oh my God, I'm like, oh, that looks brutal, but it looks amazing. And I told him, I said, I'm actually going to try that today. I'm doing arms today. And I started doing it. And oh, how sore I am because of it. Now, I didn't get that same soreness the last time I did arm workout. Why? Because my arm workout that I did last time was the same arm workout that I've been doing for a couple of months. I plateaued. There was no reward. My muscles got used to the fix. But then today, when I changed the avenue of approach, when I changed the process, when I throw something new and I tried something new, I felt it. Why? Because my muscles said, oh, this is something new. We don't know how to handle this. This is pretty cool and painful. With our mindset, it has to be the same thing. If you are still doing the same, listening to the same audiobooks, you're listening to the same videos, you're doing the same thing you did last year, you will get last year's fix this year. You will not get this year's fix. You will not get that dopamine hit. Tomorrow, what we're going to do is going to talk about how to control this, how to utilize this, how to package this in a way where the natural chemicals of our brain drives us forward with success. How do we break the cycle if we're in a dopamine dysfunction? What is it? You say, okay, coach, I recognize that this is a positive or negative thing. And listening to you, I think is negative in my life right now. I'm not feeling motivated to do really anything. If I really am honest with myself, I'm just sitting around. I'm not spending quality time in my relationships and investing in my relationships. I'm not spending quality time or investing in my goals, in my purposes. In fact, I'm just kind of rolling the dice and hoping that my gamble pays off. And when it does, that's that dopamine fix. There's no real purpose. So, coach, I think I'm in the dysfunction piece of it, the addiction piece of it. But now that I know that, what do I do? What do I do with this? We're going to talk about that tomorrow in our Coffee with Coach, as well as talk about the steps that you can take to help build the positive aspects of dopamine in your brain and how to utilize it for the positive aspects of reaching your goals, driving forward, being a success. Because again, we talked about today, you're going to have motivation and a dopamine addiction destroys that motivation. You're going to have to pay attention to the long-term goals and understand that your short-term goals combined together by achieving them then will hold you through to achieve your long-term goals. But that long-term goal is the objective. When we used to go, when I used to be in the army, we would sit there and it would be great. I mean, as an air assault guy, repelling out of helicopters, there were times that I'd repelled down onto the objective, but usually you did not. And we still didn't get into the helicopter on the objective. But most of the time, as a light infantry, and I say that jokingly, it's called light infantry, but there was nothing light about it. You're marching or walking or what we call humping or rucking to that objective, and it's several clicks away. It's several kilometers away. They don't just put you right on the objective. And if you were exhausted and got tired at any moment, you never reached the objective. You just, I'm done. I mean, you couldn't do that in the military, but I'd love to see me tell my squad leader that, hey, I'm done. I'm ready to go home. That wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have worked out well. No, you had to keep pushing through. You had to find that intestinal fortitude to push through to the long-term goal because that was the objective. And dopamine destroys that view. So how do we do that? How do we detox from it? What are steps we can take to rebalance our lives? And in doing so, why? Why would we want to? How do we take something that could be very negative in our life right now, but it is a part of us? It is a chemical and a hormone in our brain. And we talked about yesterday, there are important aspects of it. How do we take those important aspects and utilize them to become something positive toward reaching our goals, our objectives, and beating yesterday's you with today's you? You know why? Because it's your responsibility. Your response is your responsibility. Before I play the closing music today, there's been a thing that's been scrolling along the bottom here. It says, check out our school community. Please, Grit Nation, go check out on our Facebook page. We have, I put a link yesterday on it, SKOOL. Go check it out and look up Grit Nation as a community. We have been trying to find a way where once we have recorded the workshop videos, we can place them somewhere that people can go and purchase them themselves and not wait for us to do it. For example, Monday, we are starting the basic training workshop. We will be recording it live as we do it. In order to do the basic training workshop again, you would have to wait for us to bring it back around. And that usually was a year, year and a half. And we had people say, man, I wish I had not missed that workshop. And so what we have just done is we are putting it on school where people can register and purchase the workshop once it is completed, once we have done. So sometime in June, it'll probably be up there. Go join it. The other thing we're going to be doing, we're going to be putting some unique things over there that we will not be putting on our Facebook page. It'll be special, different things. We'll be running different pieces on the school piece, on the school community that we won't be doing on Facebook. It gives us an opportunity to just expand what we offer here at Grit Nation. So please go join, go look up school, make a profile, SKOOL, look up the community Grit Nation, join it, and let's get ready to start building the Grit Nation community even larger. Hey, thanks for joining me today. Thanks for being part of Grit Nation. Your response is your responsibility. And my dog is barking in the background.
Life dropped me on the curb, didn't even check the laces. Cold ground on my heels, empty pockets, crowded faces. From every doorway, I can feel those eyes, they never blink. Waiting on a crack in my armor, waiting for me just to sink. Sorry to disappoint you all, I'm still breathing, still on cue. I'm here as a soldier, standing loyal, standing true. Turn my pain into a promise, turn my losses into fuel. I was raised by the pressure, now I use it as a tool. I'm gonna rise up, I'm gonna win. I'll be the one still standing when this fight ends. Yeah, you can disrespect, turn your back, talk big and run from the fact. I paid dues you can never pay back. I'm the alpha and I lead this pack. My goals, my dreams, my ambition, lace tight, they never slip. Every setback just a rap. I get stronger with the hits. From the shadows to the spotlight, I've been walking through the smoke. Heart armor like a riot shield. I don't break, I just reload. Yeah, they